All right, so thank you for coming. Thank you, Denise, for organizing that. What I want to talk about, and you stop me anytime if you have a question. I'm going to show you already the website we created. So Blackstone is a very famous hedge fund. And what they wanted to create, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to close my window. No, that's fine. And they wanted to create an organization that help students to develop entrepreneurial skills. So I reached the Veterans Affair because I think a lot of veterans, as part of our education, would like to, I know they have, a lot of them have strong leadership, but I think what they would like to have also is a platform when they can demonstrate their leadership and put something on their resume to demonstrate their leadership, but also maybe to develop some communication skills, and mainly to be part of a network that will help them to promote themselves so they can more easily find a job. And Blackstone created that platform to help all students to develop entrepreneurial skills and to allow students to be part of a network of entrepreneurs. So when we talk about entrepreneurs, it's not just students who want to create their own company. It's also for students who will work in big firms or mid-sized firms, but inside these firms, they will be able to develop new product or new processes. So this platform, the Blackstone LaunchPad, is to help all these students, entrepreneurs, but also people who will work in big companies. So they created this charitable foundation, and they created what we call Blackstone LaunchPad. So the idea here is that they provide some, actually, let me put the address of that website on the chat. So they provide different programs. So let me go directly to the programs. For example, they create what we call startup weekends. So they invite students to be part of a kind of boot camp in which they work by teams, they meet entrepreneurs, they meet investors, they meet also potential mentors. Because one of the attraction of that attractive aspect of that program is that you may have an idea, but you didn't develop the idea yet. Or you may have an idea, you develop the business plan, but still you need to go further to raise money or to make the paperwork, to do the paperwork, etc. So you need some mentors. So Blackstone will provide this kind of mentors. And here at Queen's College, we try to develop this mentorship program. So yourself, actually, if you go through that program and you went through these kind of activities, you could become a mentor also at Queen's College for new freshmen, for example. Again, the objective here is not only to develop entrepreneurial skills, but is to put something on your resume. That's what you have to do. You have to put something on your resume. And to be part of that program could help you. So they have startup weekends. What they have also is speaker series. So regularly, Blackstone invite entrepreneurs to explain what they went through, the difficulties and the success. As you know, one of the main things you do is that you learn by your mistakes. So they can show what they went through. Also, they organize competitions. And it's a very good opportunity for you if you have an idea. For example, I come with something stupid, but let's suppose that, you know, you want to create an app that help veterans to find a job in the construction industry. Well, this is a good idea, but now you have to develop that idea. And one way first to test if your idea is good is to go through this competition. So you will do a pitch. You will explain why your idea is good and how you intend to develop your idea. And if you win the competitions, actually, you may get some money. So that will be an opportunity for you to develop your firm. So they organize regular competitions. They have what we call demo day. After a while, when you get very better and better at this kind of attitude and you develop good ideas, then they gather the best students of each college. And again, you do a pitch in front of investors and potential some venture capital, mentors, etc. They have also a fellowship. So the fellowship is even more advanced because for 8 weeks, right now in a virtual program, but when we will be out of the pandemic, it will be on a campus. You will have an 8-week program in which you receive some money, but also you get through workshops, you do some networking, you get to meet entrepreneurs, you are connected with mentors, and they develop your leadership skills, your communication skills, your business plan building skills, etc., etc. And then, as I mentioned, I think one of the most attractive aspect is the mentorship. You want to develop your app to connect the veterans with construction jobs. Well, maybe they have someone at Blackstone that specializes in that industry. Now, I asked the question about the veterans because in their brochure or in their, when I meet with them regularly, they talk often about, helping the veterans. So my point is that they don't have a specific program for veterans, but what they have is, I'm sure, they have connection with veterans that are entrepreneurs or who went through the program or develop their company or have venture capital. And I'm sure, I know that we'll be able to contact these veterans through Blackstone, and then you can connect with them. And they can become a mentor for you if you have some ideas you want to develop. So in that website also, I have some resources. I show some resources, so I provide some news sometimes. I show through academics what you can try to do at Queen's College. I know we have a program called BALA. BALA is allowing students to develop entrepreneurial skills also. So we connect closely BALA with the Blackstone project. Okay, you know already the Career Center, the library, and etc. Now, I don't want to speak too much on doing the blah, 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 but I want to show you quickly what is the, where you can find some things. Now, I know you have some questions usually asked. And the first one, well, okay, seems interesting, but how do I start? What do I do? Well, if you have an idea, it's open to everyone. If you have no idea, if you have an idea, if you have already a business plan developed. So the thing you have to do is the following. Is on the top right here, you click on Sign Up, Start Tree. And when you click on that website, on that website address here, you arrive at Queen's College Startup Tree. Startup Tree is a platform we use to connect Blackstone and Queen's College. So what you will have to do is to click on sign up here, and then you give your information, just email address, your name, a password, and boom, you signed up, all right? And by signing up, what you can do now is to attend all the programs I was describing. And you can also connect to us. So for example, if you have an idea and a project or a venture, you can see on the right here, you have adventure or project. So you click on it and you say, all right, I have an idea. Here is a fundamental idea. And then I will contact you, and then we'll try to do everything to help you to develop your business. Unfortunately, Queen's College, we just start, so we don't have the full infrastructure to help you fully, but at least I can connect you with some mentors at Blackstone, and we can talk about it. And within Queen's College, we may have some people who can help you how to develop a business plan. So we can start the conversation and then see how we can help you. Now, on that page here at Startup, you can see you have events that you can attend. So for example, you have here a workshop about budget. You have a panel discussion about entrepreneurship through acquisition. You have mindfulness in marketing. You have some competitions from other colleges. You have, what else? Some people who tell their stories about being an entrepreneur or as students going through the program. You have some chat with an entrepreneur. You have some workshops, how to do a pitch competition, source of funding, a webinar, etc., etc., etc. And at the very end, so if you want to attend that, you just do RSVP. First, you have to sign up, and then you do RSVP, and you can attend. But at the very bottom here, what you have also is some job posting. Not only job posting, but also internship. You can see internship. So you can try to apply. All right, so that was the basic things I wanted to explain to you. Again, as I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. But again, I want to re-emphasize on one thing. If I have some veterans who contact me, and they have some ideas or they want to know more about that kind of platform or experience, I can try to contact some veterans that are connected to Blackstone, and then I can organize a session with them. I can contact them, and I think they will have more insight actually about how to use that platform. And you make connection, you make a network. Again, if you want to get a job, you have to show who you are. You demonstrated leadership, you demonstrated, courage, you demonstrated you are ready to jump, you are ready to work hard, but you have to show it on your resume, and you have to network. So I think we can help you to provide, and we can provide that. So if you have any question, don't hesitate. If you don't hesitate to contact me anytime. Let me give you my email address.
Professor Marist,
yeah.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate you presenting this partnership and collaboration, which I think is invaluable for students when it comes to networking and thinking about after Queen's College, where's your career going to go? So I was just wondering if you could just further elaborate on the pitch process, which sounds really, really interesting. I'm thinking in my mind, like Shark Tank. Are you in front of a panel of professionals from Blackstone? What can you just further describe what that looks like, and have any previous QC students pitched successfully? And if so, what were those pitch ideas as well?
So Blackstone launched ID competition last month. Unfortunately, the the deadline for application was in last week. But the idea is the following, is that, okay, so you have this idea about creating an app to connect the veterans with the construction industry, with the jobs in construction industry. So what you have to go through is, okay, it's a good idea, but the problem is that you have to do a presentation about it and to demonstrate to the venture capital people that you can make money with that. And it can be a good firm. So you have to be able to do a business plan. So business plan mean, okay, why do I think I have potential clients? Look at the number of veterans in total in the United States. How many are students, not only at Queens College, but everywhere? How many are looking for jobs in construction? So it requires some research to find out if your firm has some potential. Now, if you identify potential pool of veterans, let's say 3,000 or 10,000 veterans, then now you have to figure out how you reach them and how do you connect them with the construction industries. So again, you have to do some research. You have to create a website. You have to create an app. You have to contact the construction firms. You have to contact other recruiters. And you have to see if you have some competition. You have to see if there is competition, how do you beat your competition? How do you provide something that is better than the competition? And so if you identify something that helps you to beat the competition, then develop your project through that, your firm through that. How many people will I have to hire? How much does it cost to have a software engineer that can do it, or can I do it myself? So when you go through all that process, how do I do the marketing? Then you do a presentation of between 5 or 15 minutes through a PowerPoint and through our videos, and boom, you go through your pitch competition. You define your project according to what you discovered here. And you need then to show that you have energy, that you have organized idea, you know what you want to do, you are like stubborn almost, I know it can be a killer and I'm going to do it, but you have to demonstrate that financially it's viable. And then, you have the sales pitch. I'm not good at that at all, but that's what you have to develop, and that's what this program can help you. Now, actually at Bala, they have a class. I was impressed because last semester, I listened to the students of a class that precisely does that. So meaning students had ideas and they did a pitch of 15 minutes to explain why it could be a good firm. And it was very, very well done. So we have some expertise here we can try to help you with. There are other competitions coming. We are thinking actually about organizing a competition this semester, or next semester, a pitch competition. And again here, I know it may be a little bit scary, kind of, but you are the kind of people, I guess, that can jump. Okay, I'm going to do it. That's my thing, and I'm going to jump and do it. So that's what you should do, I guess.
Thank you. So I know it's not necessarily tied to one specific major. It's anyone with a business plan, succinct business plan, identifying a new market. What's the market share? Being able to answer all these questions. What's the mission statement? So, so you encourage Bala. Bala is a great resource. They offer a lot of great courses throughout the semester. So any student veterans interested in pursuing kind of like maybe more of a business centric experience, you could always, add value to your electives. Is there any other majors you think? I mean, it's pretty much open, right? It's like if you have an idea, you can really run with it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's open to absolutely every major because you can do business in every major. Of course, if you have a major in psychology, that's a great major, but of course, it's a little bit too, difficult to identify a specific, how to say, firm related to psychology. Even if you can, if, for example, you may have the idea, I want to open a center because for drug addicts, for example, I have some expertise on that, and I know I have a solution, a good solution to try to help them. And so I want to open a business to do that. Well, that's a fantastic idea, actually, but it's a psychology major. It's not a business major. You can be a physicist and you have a new idea about how to make a new battery, and you don't want to be part of a firm for a battery for vehicles. I have a fantastic idea. Well, I want to do it by myself, but I need to raise money and create a firm. So it's absolutely open to every major. And actually, I may be surprised, like someone who studies sociology and psychology suddenly has an idea about a scientific idea, but even if you don't have the scientific expertise, you can try to hire people who have this expertise and build that firm, even if yourself, you're not a scientist. So it's really, entrepreneurship is very surprising. I don't know if you know that series, but on the History Channel or the Smithsonian Channel, I don't remember, they have the men who build America. And then they explain how the Tesla or Edison or, Carnegie or Rockefeller or Ford, they explain the competitive environment they were in and how they beat the competition. And you learn about the character they have, which is they are fierce competitors and they want to win absolutely. And they dedicate everything they have in their success. And I think that's something, I mean, when you're in the battlefield or whatever, there is no, you have to win and you have to put everything in it to win. So that's a kind of same spirit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. These are, dominant personalities that were very successful in the business fields. That makes complete sense, that, that spirit, that ethos. And something that comes to mind for me right now, student government. So the way that they actually allocate funds for programming, they actually do a similar process that you just mentioned, where they pitch before an executive board for a specific event. So they'll, you have to come before with the plan of how you want to use the club funds, and it's a big pot of money. So I know William Barron, who's actually a part of the Student Government Association as I believe an executive board member for non-traditional students, has done it numerous times and has done big level events throughout the semester. So I think anyone in student government has experience, pitching this, can easily transfer to that and has the transferable skills necessary to be successful in pitching. You just need the idea first. So yeah.
And also when you think about it, even if you don't create your company, well, you send resumes and you get some interview. And the problem for the interview is that first you have to be used to sell yourself. Myself, I hate to do that, but that's why I was not, in a big company or something like that. But in reality, you have to do it if you want to get the job. You have to sell yourself. So not only this kind of pitch competition help you to come out with more communication skills, but again, when you go to an interview, the mistake is to be passive and wait for the bullets that is coming to you with the questions. I always say to my students, you have to control the interview, but how do you control an interview? Well, the best way to do it is when you have in your resume, you have a project you did. So for my students, if you do the trading competition organized every semester, then you come up with a report. Which stock did you buy? Why did you select them? and what was your strategy, and what was the evolution of the price of the stock, and what did you do about it? But if you come up with that report of 4 or 5 pages you did, the interviewer will be very happy to jump on it and to ask you any question about it. But you control the interview because you know everything about the project you came up with. And you can demonstrate what was your thinking. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter much. What matters is that you thought about it, what was your process, how you make your decision, and you demonstrate that you like what you're doing, but you demonstrate your critical thinking abilities and your motivation. And so I think for people who want to sell themselves, if they go through a program like that and they show that they did a pitch competition because they have this idea that an app to connect the veterans with the construction companies may be a good idea. I did my research. I think it's good. But you control the interview, because then the interviewer, also the interviewer is a tough job because a guy is coming, okay, what am I going to ask to this guy? Well, here they have the opportunity to ask a lot of questions about that specific question and to find out who you are. So I think it's beneficial in that sense also.
No, that's great. That's invaluable information going into an interview, because oftentimes you're kind of frazzled. What am I working on? You don't know how to articulate certain things. I've been there numerous times on panel interviews where it's like, you do want to, put forth and articulate your rationale when I did X, Y, and Z, and then the output as well, and how that added value to the organization. So that's something you have to think about versus just going in blank and like, oh, I don't know what I did when I was in the military. You see a lot of veterans that just, oh, I was just infantry. Can you elaborate on that? How did those skills transfer into the workplace? So that's something that's very critical in being able to, reference. And yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think you've answered all my questions, Professor Maris. I'm really appreciative of you taking the time to be here today and mention this tool that I think it's really, it's a great opportunity for anyone to engage in, maximize, like you mentioned, the keys, network. Think what's beyond just, Queens College and your GI Bill, because eventually you have to find a job, you have to start working. So, thinking about the next task. And yeah.
Listen, thank you very much for organizing that. I'm very happy with the work you do for the veterans. We really want the veterans to be successful. And I hope that will be a good platform for them. So please distribute this video and tell them that, at any time they can send me an email and I will be there to answer.
Merci.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Good job, Jeff. Well done.
Hello?
Hello? Get this bitch off real quick.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.